All right, Sports Mashup number 110, May 10th, 2023 is the date, and we will begin in the NBA with some playoff updates.
Yeah, in game 2 versus Lakers, Clay dropped 8 threes to win 127 to 100. Shot 8 from 11 from the 3-point line.
Yeah, I kind of view, even though one team's in a deeper hole than the other, which could change after tonight, but I kind of view what the Warriors and Suns are doing right now as similar in the fact that you'll see a game like this from Clay, and then he'll no-show like he did in game 5 or 4. And we're seeing a little bit of that with the guys around Devin Booker, is that you're not getting enough production from those guys. And when you're facing a team like the Lakers, who have a lot of different options that can score with the emergence of Reeves, and obviously LeBron can still put some numbers up, and Anthony Davis. And then with the Suns' opponent, which is the Nuggets, you'll see, Michael Porter Jr. put up some points, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope make some shots. So I think that's kind of the real problem that Golden State and Phoenix are both running into, is that they're not getting enough consistent production, because Kevin Durant games in Phoenix in this series have been great, but in Denver they've been bad.
And I even had seen a TikTok today of the game where Draymond threw the ball to Anthony Davis, or he got tipped and ball ended up in Anthony Davis, like whenever that one was close. It showed a look back to like 2018 when LeBron was still in the Cavs. It was the same play. Draymond faked the handoff, ran. LeBron memorized that play, read it, and AD flashed to the corner to cover Clay.
Yeah.
So then Draymond just threw it, and it got tipped by somebody else, and Anthony Davis had it. But they also went down the stretch. Clay shot like back-to-back 3-pointers when they didn't need it.
Yeah.
They got outscored 10 in the third.
It's kind of a who's going to help Steph Curry situation that they have right now.
And then I'll say the big gain 3 points for the second thing for the Suns Nuggets game, and Ethan will come in with the Suns stats. Jokic game 3, he had 30 points, 17 rebounds, 17 assists. And then in game 4, he had 53 points and 14 assists in a game 4 loss.
Yeah, the game 4 was the major shot-making game where everybody was making everything. But you could say, Booker had more points in game 3, but game 4 might have been more impressive. I don't know. But Booker, game 3, had 47 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. That was on 20 of 25 shooting, by the way. I don't think you're ever going to see often a superstar score 47 on 2 free throws. I feel like that's something that's not talked about enough. And then Durant got his game going at the free throw line with 39 points in game 3, 14 to 16 from the free throw line. So in Phoenix games in the series that have been in Phoenix, it's who's going to help Durant and Booker, and they have gotten some help, especially in game 4. But in Denver, it's been who's going to help Booker, because he's pretty much been doing it by himself most of the series. And I think you could really see the fatigue in game 5.
We'll find out.
It's hard to imagine. It's hard to, Durant has looked so bad in Denver. I don't really know, just weird turnovers, missing shots he usually makes. It's very weird. But
I wonder if his could be just that he sat out so much and playing at higher elevation. He hasn't got his legs air into him yet. Now he's playing at higher elevation, or what?
Plus, they're having to rely on those guys playing so many minutes. It's going to catch up to him, and it's probably why Denver is probably going to win this series. Who knows if it'll be in 6 or 7.
Ethan and I were just talking pre-show. They still haven't came out and said if Chris Paul is going to be playing in game 6 of this series Thursday.
Yeah, I have to imagine that it'll probably be a game-time decision. I think they originally said games 3 through 5 he would be out, maybe come back for game 6. I don't really know. They've been running the floor and getting in transition without him.
Could this be his first off-the-bench game right after you jinxed him last week that he's only started?
It's a good point. It might happen. You also had the Bucks fire head coach Mike Budenholzer. What's going to happen with Giannis is the big question here. And
what will this do with Giannis's game?
Yeah, I don't think Giannis is going anywhere, as some people have alluded to. I think the trade value would be too much for anybody.
I don't think this article is about where he'll go. It's more like what will him losing his really only head coach, what is this new head coach going to do with Giannis's game?
Yeah. But it is important to get out in front of the fact that he is not going to the New York Knicks. I think we can just I know people have said that. It's not happening. But they did get the okay to interview Warriors assistant Kenny Atkinson, obviously former head coach for the Nets. I believe that he accepted the Charlotte job last year and then backed out. I think we talked about that, Kenny Atkinson. So it feels like he's had a lot of different opportunities. And maybe if the Warriors lose in 5 to the Lakers in round 2, then he decides to bounce then because he decided to stick around after they won a title last year.
Well, yeah, he was one that they said they were going to hire or whatever, and it was almost a done deal, and then he backed out or whatever the last minute. And then lastly, you got JJ Redick to interview for the Raptors job.
I think JJ Redick is very good at what he's doing now in terms of his podcast and some TV broadcasting.
Which I like his podcasting and broadcasting more than him being on ESPN arguing with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, I think everybody probably feels the same way.
Because he searches and finds a lot of stats, and Stephen A. Smith just goes on whatever he wants.
Yeah. I think it would be bizarre for either side here for him to jump to head coaching in the NBA. I mean, obviously he knows basketball and he understands the league. It just feels weird that his first coaching opportunity would be as a head coach at the highest level. It just feels weird. But I feel like, it wouldn't be the biggest disaster in NBA history, but it would be definitely interesting to see how it would play out.
And like when he left, he wanted to end closer to home to be around his kids and stuff more. Now he'd be in Toronto and traveling all the time.
Yeah. I don't see it actually happening, but it is interesting.
And then before we get to where the current playoff standings are, you had the all-rookie first team and second team announced. The first team is Paolo Banchero of the Magic, Walker Kessler of the Jazz, Benedict Mathurin of the Pacers, Keegan Murray of the Kings, and Jalen Williams of the Thunder. The second team was Jalen Duren of the Pistons, Tari Eason of the Rockets, Jaden Ivey of the Pistons, Jabari Smith Jr. of the Rockets, and Jeremy Sochan. Is that how you say his last name?
I think it's Sohan. Silent C and H.
But that is your. And then you had all defensive first team is Alec Caruso of the Bulls, Drew Holiday of the Bucks, Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Grizzlies, Brooke Lopez of the Bucks, and Evan Mobley of the Cavs. Second team, Bam Adebayo of the Heat, OG Anunoby of the Raptors, Dylan Brooks of the Grizzlies, Draymond Green of the Warriors, and Derek White of the Celtics.
No surprises for me on either of those lists.
So yeah, then in the second round so far, you've got the Heat up 3-1 over the Knicks and the Celtics down 2-3 against the 76ers.
In the West, the Nuggets have a 3-2 series lead over the Suns, Game 6 tomorrow night in Phoenix, and then the Lakers lead the Warriors 3-1. Game 5 is tonight, I believe, right? And
the Heat, Knicks, and Lakers and Warriors are tonight.
Yeah. All right, on to the NFL.
Which I didn't even think about this. In the Matthew Stafford trade, the Rams just got Matthew Stafford. They gave up Jared Goff, the 12th overall pick in last year's draft, which was Jameson Williams. Last year's number 46 was Josh Pascal. Last year's number 101 with I'm not even butchering that name. And then they give up this year's number 12 pick, which ended up being Jahmyr Gibbs. This year's number 34, which was Sam Laporta. And this year's number 96, which was Broderick Martin. So the Rams just gave away a ton of picks for Stafford and a quarterback.
At least they won a Super Bowl, I guess that's what they would say.
Yeah, but gave up their entire future for that.
Yeah.
And then just thinking about this, Devontae Smith tweeted, just thinking about this wide receiver room they had at one point where it was Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs III, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith all in Alabama.
Yeah, I feel like that was talked about a lot.
Like, as a college quarterback, you're like, oh, I can just throw it to any of these guys.
Yeah, they had, Tua for a year and then Mac Jones for a year with all four of those guys, I think.
Yeah.
Not bad.
But on to current NFL stuff. The Giants gave defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence a 4-year, $90 million extension.
He's the centerpiece of that defense. He's the best player they have overall, I think. But it is going to be hard to pay him and Daniel Jones, which they did, and Saquon. So
yeah,
I think Saquon's going to be the odd man out eventually in this. But well-deserved. Dexter Lawrence is a very, very good player.
Which I think had people talk that they still hold Saquon to be one of the best backs in the league. It's just his O-line kills him.
Yeah.
Because half his time he's getting hit already in the backfield. He can never even get going.
Yeah, there was an improvement last year with the Giants' offensive line, but I definitely think he could be even better with a better front.
And if they actually got wide receivers for Daniel Jones to throw the ball to open that running game up.
Yeah.
And then you had ex-Titan left tackle Taylor Lewan sues Dr. James Andrews over his ACL repair, which I believe this is over his first repair, not even the second one.
Yeah.
And then Nick Foles looking to land somewhere after being released from the Colts.
XFL?
And then, like with that, after A.J. McCarron being the MVP of the XFL for what he did for the Battlehawks, does he still come to be a backup somewhere?
That's a good point. I mean, I think at this point, if you're him, you just keep playing the XFL.
Like you could sign him with, like, say, the Cardinals and have a quarterback competition between him and Colt McCoy for who's going to start until Kyler's healthy. Or at least then you have a legitimate backup sitting behind Colt McCoy who often gets hurt himself.
Yeah, it's not bad. The Chiefs reach a 1-year deal with ex-Buccaneer offensive tackle Donovan Smith, who, as I was saying this, just got called for a holding.
Oh. Not just one? Or just one?
Yeah, just one for now, but maybe another one. I just like to say that every time he's brought up. Because every time you look at the TV, it's like, oh, holding, Donovan Smith. There he is again.
Yeah, Bucks make a big play. Oh, there's a flag on the field. Let's bring it back and let's see what it is. You don't even have to look. You already know it's going to be a holding on.
Well, this is something here, unless they fix him, like he's going to have to protect Mahomes a little bit differently than he did Brady. Because Mahomes can move.
Which he might not get holding penalties as much because he could just let guys go around and let Patrick slide out to the left.
We'll see. That's true. Lamar Jackson seems excited. New receiver core they have there in Baltimore after he got his extension. He wants to throw for 6,000 yards, which that's not going to happen. But
wait, I missed that. He got his extension?
Yeah, that was last week. I think we talked about it last week.
I don't believe so.
Well, he got the big money. Maybe we didn't, but
we just talked about draft recap.
Well, he got the big money. So there you go. And then Packers quarterback, quote unquote, Sean Clifford gets Rodgers' spot in the locker room, says it's just, I mean, whatever. I don't even. Sean Clifford stinks, but I hope I don't have to see him play.
He does not stink. He'll be a valued backup quarterback in Green Bay.
Hopefully so.
I just think that's just saying like he's not taking like that locker as like some shrine Aaron Rodgers. It's just an open locker that he got put at.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Was that Brett Favre's and whoever else before that?
Maybe.
No, because Favre wouldn't have sat at the same. Rodgers wouldn't have moved from his locker to Favre's. Yeah. So it's not like that was the quarterback one locker for however many years.
Yeah.
But on to golf. Last weekend, you had the Wells Fargo Championship. Winner was Wyndham Clark. Won $3.6 million, shot 19 under.
It's pretty good. He kind of controlled it on the weekend. Shot a 63 on Saturday. Won by what, 4? 3 or 4?
Yeah. Which is Saturday is really kind of what clinched it, shooting 8 under.
Yeah.
Which also came out of this. You had Spieth. He didn't make the cut. Then he also apparently had a wrist injury.
Yeah. Tough.
So we'll see how that goes on the rest of the season for him with his wrist and everything. Are they allowed to wear like some sort of wrist brace or anything?
I think so, yeah. Some tape or something.
He just can't wear like a device of some sort.
Yeah.
Like an alignment tool or something like that.
Yeah.
But he could wear like a wrist brace or some. And then this weekend you have the AT&T Byron Nelson defending champion K.H. Lee at TPC Craig Ranch in McKinney, Texas.
We also had Jim Furyk named a vice captain for the U.S. Ryder Cup team. Not surprising there. And I believe that he will also be the President's Cup captain for the next President's Cup in 2024. So there you go. The captain of the Ryder Cup team is Zach Johnson, by the way. All right, college hoops.
Yeah, you had Bronny Smith commits to USC. We did discuss this last week. You brought up Duke. I said there's no way he's not going to Ohio State. Shocks us both, goes to USC.
Yeah, I think I'm already over the whole Bronny James
as
news coverage. Yeah.
Because you know he's only going to go there for 1 year and then hope he's going to – wherever he goes, his dad's going to follow him.
Yeah, I just don't really care.
And then, but with this, Dennis Rodman's son, DJ, to transfer to USC from Washington State.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be...
Which he played there for 4 years. It's not like this is Michael Jordan's son.
Yeah.
Like this is Dennis Rodman's son.
Yeah, the USC will have a nice team, but, they're going to be overrated. It's just natural. Damon Stoudemire, Georgia Tech new head coach. He hired ex-George Washington head coach Carl Hobbs as his top assistant. Nice get there.
Yeah, not a bad pick there.
And then former Michigan star Hunter Dickinson finally decides to transfer where he's going. He finally decided on Kansas. I said Kansas from the start. Not surprising. Good fit for Bill Self. Most of his really good teams have had a good center, and he's one of the best. So,
but normally, like he always has like a bulkier, physical 5-man.
I feel like Dickinson has that body type. He just doesn't really play like that, but he can. I think
that's my point.
I think he can, though. I think we're going to see a little bit of a different type of player with him. All right, Major League Baseball. White Sox DH Eloy Jimenez, hospitalized Saturday, had an emergency appendectomy, expected to miss 4 to 8 weeks. The White Sox are already terrible, so now they're going to lose one of their sluggers. And then Noah Syndergaard out after 1 inning with a cut finger. Noah Syndergaard is so irrelevant to me.
Yeah, just after last week talked about these Mets pitchers cannot get through a full season and everything, and then next week, Syndergaard out with a cut finger after 1 inning. Bryce Harper hits his first home run since his return, though in a loss to Boston.
Good to see him back. Looks good.
And the Cardinals move catcher Wilson Contreras to DH/outfield.
Which this was they kind of thought back on this, and it's pretty much just DH. I don't think he's going to play outfield unless there's an emergency.
Yeah, you already have so many outfielders. Even Brendan Donovan's playing left field right now, which I'm okay with because, as we all know,
He can do anything.
I'm not a huge fan of a normal left fielder
who's hurt anyway. But Contreras, they kind of walked this back the next day and said, well, he's not going to play outfield. I think he'll be back to catching eventually, but I don't really like how they're scapegoating him and pretending like the pitching being bad is on him because it's not.
Well, no, and then they came out and said it wasn't a pitching catching thing with him. I think they were just trying to get him more ABs and feel more comfortable or something.
Very bizarre. But
which maybe this series right now he's hitting well against his previous team of the Cubs. Maybe this will get him going. Kisner's swinging the bat good.
Yes.
Spencer Strider's streak of 9 straight starts with 9 strikeouts has ended. He almost got to the top, which Chris Sale had 10, and Nolan Ryan had 11. And then a little college baseball here. Dylan Cruz from LSU.
Number 1 pick.
Batting average is .477. He's first in college. On base percentage is .626 first. 73 runs first. 49 walks. He's in 7th. And slugging percentage .836. He's 7th. And then SEC freshman home run record was previously held by Frank Thomas from Auburn at 21 in 1987. Now you've got Ethan Petrie from, looks like, South Carolina at 21, Charlie Condon from Georgia at 22, and Pedro Alvarez of Vanderbilt at 22. Oh, that was in 2006. So you've got 2 guys that are probably going to break the freshman home run record, and Petrie and Condon.
Cruz is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft, and if he isn't, then whoever's drafting is dumb.
What position does he even play?
I believe he's an outfielder. Could be wrong, though. I'm just guessing.
But a little player of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to go Boston outfielder Masataka Yoshida, who might be the best free agent signing right now from last offseason. 10 for 26, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 6 runs, 1 double, and an OPS of 1,082.
Where was he previously?
He just came over from Japan.
Oh. I took the Rockies catcher, Elias Diaz, 6 for 17, 3 runs, 5 RBIs, 3 walks.
All right. NHL, the Lightning signed forward Michael Eyssimont to a 2-year, $1.6 million deal. Solid. No surprise here is Gerard Gallant is out as the head coach of the New York Rangers after a first-round playoff exit. I believe he was, 3 seasons there, 2 seasons there? I don't remember.
I thought this was only his first or second because this was after you talked about their figure skating. I thought that was last year, and then he came in and it was non-figure skating.
Yeah, I think the year before that was more like that, but I think he was 2 or 3 years. I'm gonna look here just to make sure. It was 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, so he improved the team, got him into the playoffs, and then you fire him?
Here's the thing. First of all, I think it kind of shows the volatility in coaching now because he went 99, 46, and 19 in 2 years, got to the conference finals, lost in the first round, 13 and 14 in the playoffs. But he's also a guy that hasn't stuck around places long. He was 3 years in Columbus, or actually 2 years and 15 games in Columbus, 2 years and 22 games in Florida, 2 years and 49 games in Vegas, and then 2 years with the Rangers. So he hasn't ever coached 3 full seasons for a team.
Maybe he'll go to Calgary.
Possibly, but I think I don't think that's a big enough difference from what they had with Sutter.
Well, no, but maybe after he's done, the new, like we talked about, the new arena will be done, so he'll get to the new arena, and then they'll clean house.
Possibly. But yeah, I think Gallant, what killed him is that he didn't seem to make any adjustments whatsoever in the series against New Jersey, and the team didn't respond. So I think that's what killed him. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl scored 2 goals in Game 2 to tie the series. It's now 2-1 Vegas going into Game 4 tonight. We'll get to that. Draisaitl on pace to break most goals in the postseason as of Saturday is 13 through 8 games. The record is 19. So I think he get there. Very historic run. He had 4 goals in Game 1 of this series, and they lost. So, and then the Flyers president of hockey operations job is down to 2 candidates, both Turner Sports analysts Keith Jones and Eddie Olczyk. Sounds like Keith Jones is going to be the one that gets the job. Played for the Flyers broadcast, so I don't know if that's going to be a big improvement for the Flyers, but give him a chance, I guess. You never know.
And the 19-year-old defenseman Luke Hughes to make a season debut in Game 3 for the Devils, or he did. I believe he had 2 goals. His brother he had 2 assists. His brother had 2 goals and an assist at least.
Yeah.
Bruins head coach Montgomery, front runner for Coach of the Year. Makes sense. First year there. Yeah, first year there, gets the President's Cup, though makes an early exit in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the Blackhawks win NHL draft lottery. Everybody projecting them to take Bedard. 2 goes to Anaheim, 3 goes to Columbus. Everything else stays the same.
Yeah. I think it's good for the league in terms of he's going to Chicago instead of Anaheim and Columbus. I think the number 2 pick is going to be fine. I think the number 3 pick is going to be fine. I'm assuming that the number 2 pick is going to be Adam Fantilli from Michigan. And I assume the number 3 pick is going to be Swedish center Leo Carlsson. So this class is loaded. Even if you don't get the first pick, you're fine. But Bedard's going to be great because if you look at his junior stats, we talked about it before. This season he had like 70-something goals, 70-something assists. Yeah. He had 71 goals, 72 assists, 143 points, 57 games. Those are numbers we haven't seen in junior since like McDavid. So that's the big draw there. All right, round 2 update, Eastern Conference. The Panthers with a 3-0 series lead over the Leafs, which I think the Leafs winning in the first round is almost completely erased if they get swept by Florida. I'm just saying in round 2. And it makes Boston look a little bit different, I guess, but I don't know.
But when a team gets hot, they get hot.
Yeah.
I mean, the Panthers had to battle to get into that 8th spot.
Yeah, that's the big thing, yeah. Devils down 3-1 in their series to Carolina.
Which the Panthers, Leafs, and Vegas and Oilers play tonight, correct?
Yeah.
And in the Western Conference, you got the Vegas Golden Knights up 2-1 over the Oilers, and the Kraken and Dallas Stars sitting at 2-2.
All right, let's get into the picks here. I went 7-4 last week, 1-0 in the NBA, hit 3 goals.
Bullshit.
1-1 in the NHL, 2-3 in Major League Baseball.
I went 5-4, 0-1 in the NBA, 2-0 in hockey, 2-3 in Major League Baseball. I hit on Stefan Yeager as my one golfer.
All right, let's start this week with Major League Baseball. Only 4 games to pick from tomorrow.
Yeah, I got the Padres minus 120 over the Twins, the White Sox minus 105 over the Royals, the Rays minus 125 over the Yankees, and the Giants minus 135 over the D-backs.
I got the Padres over the Twins, White Sox over the Royals, Giants over the D-backs, but I'm taking the Yankees plus 105 over the Rays. All right, let's do NBA playoffs.
I got the Celtics minus 2 over the 76ers to force a Game 7, and the Nuggets plus 3.5 over the Suns.
I got the Celtics minus 2, and I got the Suns minus 3.5. Both going to Game 7, I believe. Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, I got the Hurricanes closing out the Devils minus 130, and the Stars minus 190 over the Kraken.
I got the Devils plus 110 at the Hurricanes to force a Game 6. And give me the Kraken to kind of surprise people and take a 3-2 series lead, plus 160 at the Stars. All right, AT&T Byron Nelson from TPC Craig Ranch. An interesting field with an enormous favorite.
Yeah. To win, I have Scotty Scheffler plus 360, Tom Kim plus 1,600, and Adam Scott plus 2,800.
I'll take Tom Kim plus 1,600 and Adam Scott plus 2,800, but I'll also take Davis Riley plus 5,000.
Top 5, I have Siwoo Kim at plus 700.
I have Hideki Matsuyama plus 400.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, I saw him swinging left-handed on the range earlier, and I was like, okay, here we go.
Top 10, I have Tom Hogue at plus 360.
I have Min Woo Lee at plus 360.
Top 20, I have Stefan Jaeger at plus 170.
I have Garrick Higo plus 350.
And top 40, I have Charlie Hoffman at plus 165.
I have Ryan Palmer plus 120.
Oh, so no real sandbagging from you here in the golf field this week.
I typically don't sandbag anyway, given that my wins last week were pretty. Max was plus 280 top 10, so that's not the best odds, or that's actually good odds, but it's not the easiest odds to pick. Anyway, we'll be back next week for number 111. We got more playoff stuff, getting deeper into the playoff series. We'll know some of the conference finals stuff. We'll have a PGA championship to talk about. So we'll see everybody next week for number 111.